Hey guys, North Bank here, and today we're going to be making another air gun. So this is actually going to be air gun Mark IV now, because this is the fourth air gun that I'm making. So this is going to be a lot better than my previous ones, and I'm hoping for actually good accuracy. So the barrel is actually going to be this copper pipe. It's 50 caliber, and I actually ordered 50 caliber ball bearings off the internet. I don't have them yet, but they're going to be pretty devastating because they're steel, and I plan on maybe taking some small game with this actually. So I'm going to be hoping for some good accuracy. I'm not going to say every part that I'm using, but I'll put it on the screen right now. So the first thing is I'm going to have to put this bike pump valve into the back of this cap right here. So I'm just going to drill a hole in it and then stick it through. So now that I have the valve in there, I'm going to connect it to the main tank. So I'm not going to use any PVC glue yet, just because I want it to be like a rough outline. So with these air guns, you just need to have the same amount of volume in the air reservoir as you do in the barrel in order to shoot the projectile out effectively. So I'm not going to do any special math, but I just cutting in the middle will have definitely enough air. So I'm just going to cut it with a bandsaw now. So here's the full size of the air reservoir. So I just need to get this connector, put it like that, then get this connector like that. And then I'm just going to have to cut up this tube into little sections. So each section is going to be an inch long, and that's what's going to connect it together. So you'll see in a second. So from this one, then I have to screw in this connector, which brings it down to 0.5 inch. So then I put in that piece right there. I'm not going to put them in all the way, remember. And then a 90 degree, then another piece, then another 90 degree, another piece, the valve, and then the barrel. But there's a thing I have to alter about this. I need to make this piece right here a lot longer in order for the trigger mechanism to be in there. Okay, so I just moved it back a little bit with an extended piece so then I can put a trigger in here. So I'm just gonna use PVC primer and then PVC cement. So I'm just gonna put this together now. Okay, so it might be confusing right now, but it just looks like this. So I just need to cut out a little section so then I can add my copper pipe barrel. So now, as you can see, the copper barrel can just slide right in, and that's going to be the barrel. So now I just need to make a trigger mechanism so then this thing will turn at the pull of a trigger. So as you can see, I cut out this piece right here, and this is actually going to hold the trigger. So now I just need to duct tape it into place for now so I can work on the trigger. Okay, so you see this trigger goes like that. So I'm going to have to make some type of trigger that will hold it, and then when the trigger lets go, it will go like that. I'm going to attach this lever to this so I can just get more leverage when the elastic pulls back. I haven't done the trigger yet, but I'm just going to attach the barrel first because it's going to be easy. So that's a seal tight fit. I'm going to have to do a lot more modification, but this is a functional gun now. So the mechanism's already done. It's just kind of duct taped together right now, which will make it look good eventually. I'm just going to do a test shot now at, I believe, 120 PSI, which is pretty good. So I'm just going to load this in here and then shoot some plywood. So I'm just going to muzzle load it. And a lot of people want me to do like a breech one where you like open it up and then put the projectile in, but they don't understand that when you do that, the air escapes and then it makes it less powerful. So that's why I do muzzle loading designs. It's just superior in my opinion. So let's shoot this thing. I think it's gonna have a lot of power. So the ball bearing impacted right here. I mean, this is pretty thick plywood. What is this? Half inch, so it didn't end up going through, which I'm a little disappointed at. Okay, so I did a little work off camera just because it was a little tedious. So what I did is I just added this spring right here. It's just like a pulling spring, and I added that because the rubber band wasn't as reliable and could snap. So then I also added this aluminum corner rail right here. I put it there so it would hold the barrel good, and so I can possibly change out barrels if I want to do like a larger caliber or something. But otherwise, nothing's really much different. And I also added a trigger that automatically locks. So if you see, I pull it back, but then this spring pulls it forward. So then when I want to cock it again, it locks on its own. Just pull it back. Pretty nice trigger. I know it's made of wood and it's not that special, but it's pretty good. pretty lightweight. So right here is a little bike pump. It's for like carrying in your backpack on like a bike trip, but I'm gonna be using it for an actual pump to this because I'm not gonna be able to be carrying a compressor if I'm trying to hunt in the woods. So pretty much it looks like this. Pretty simple. It was like $7. I'm gonna mount it like this so then you can just go like this, pump it up like that. Okay, so now that the pump's mounted, I'm gonna show you guys how much power it can produce. So I'm just gonna cock it back and show you how long it actually takes to pump it up without cutting the video. So cock it back, and then you grab this, and you just go like this. Okay, so on this gauge, it's at 40 PSI, which these pipes can hold 300 PSI, but 40 is well good enough to kill a squirrel or a bunny. Just to demonstrate that, I'm gonna be shooting one of my 50 caliber ball bearings into that wood right there. It's a 1/2 inch of plywood, which I think simulates killing a squirrel very well because that's pretty hard to punch through. So here's how I load it. So here's my 50 caliber ball bearing. So I put it in a napkin or a Kleenex, anything like that, cloth would even work. And then I leave the front with the ball, and then behind it I put the extra. Next I go like this, put it into the barrel. Then I get some type of ramrod to stick it all the way down in there, almost like a 30-inch barrel I think, so it produces some pretty powerful energy. So let's shoot it now. Let's look at the damage. So right here is where it hit. Remove some of this. You can see it punched right through. That's really impressive. That's definitely enough to kill a bunny or a squirrel or something. So yeah. So I'm gonna get some like watermelons. I'm gonna get a chrono to measure how fast it's going, and just some other targets, and I'll show you guys how powerful this thing is. But first we have to finish the gun. So as you can see, there's no stock on this gun, which I need to do. So I'm gonna make that real quick, and then we're gonna get into the testing. So I made this stock a long time ago for I think a gun or something, but I'm just gonna use it for this build, and I'm just gonna cut the front part of it off, and then attach it like, oops, like this. So I'm gonna do that right now. So here's the front part of the gun, and here's the stock. So it's gonna go on something like that, which looks pretty cool actually. Kind of looks like a gun from Fallout or something. So I'm just gonna attach this now. So this is the finished gun, and I didn't do too much more to it, so I'm just gonna talk about its features real quick. So to operate it, first you have to cock it, so you go like that, so the trigger locks in place, and then you pull out the handle right here, and then you just begin to pump it up. And it takes about 20 pumps, which isn't too bad. A lot of air guns take like 30 or 40, so this isn't terrible. And then you just pump it up until it hits about 40 PSI, which doesn't sound like that much, but it's enough to kill a squirrel. And you can, I mean, this thing can go to 300 PSI, but I don't see why you'd like need that for any small game. But I'm gonna get a chrono and test the speed of 40 PSI and then test the speed of 125 PSI just to gauge it. But let's just say you're at 40 PSI now. So I actually did make this a breech loader. So you pull out the barrel like this, you put in your ammunition, shut it, make sure the sights lined up, and then you just aim with the iron sights and then shoot it. So I'm gonna do some damage tests on like some watermelons, penetration test, drywall test, and maybe if I can get something like a bunny with this, I'll try to see if I can. But I'm just gonna be testing accuracy too with these sights, you know. So let's go test it. So now I'm going to be testing the speed of the air gun. So I have a chrono right here which measures the speed. So first I'm going to be shooting with a Red Ryder, and then a 17 caliber pellet gun, and then finally my homemade air gun. So first let's do the Red Ryder. Okay, so this thing was shooting about 250 feet per second, which is pretty good, pretty average for a Red Ryder. So now I'm going to be moving to the 17 caliber pellet gun. This is a pretty common type of pellet gun. So I was going 801 feet per second, which is pretty typical for a pellet gun of this size. So now I'm going to be testing my homemade air gun at 40 PSI and at 125 PSI. So when you're going like this and pumping it up with your hand, it's really hard to get past about 40 PSI. but I think 40 psi is pretty fine for killing a small game. So now let's test 40 psi. So that was going 200 feet per second, which is plenty good to kill small game, because remember, this is a 50 caliber projectile, so that's nothing to mess around with. If this hits a bunny, it's gonna hurt it a lot. I don't know what these weigh. I'll measure it later and then calculate the amount of joules it's putting out. And then right here I'll compare it. So BB gun, pellet gun, air gun at 40 psi, and now let's go to 125 psi. So I have my compressor hose right here. Now let's fill it up. That was pretty easy. Wow, that was really impressive. This thing was going 500 feet per second. And I don't know what the joules on that is yet. I don't know the energy, but whatever this weighs times 500 feet per second. So I'll put the amount right there, and I assume that's gonna be a lot. I'm gonna compare that to like a 9mm pistol round and a 22 and stuff to see how this compares to handguns and maybe even rifles. So now let's get into the damage test. I like how the wadding's just stuck in it. Not that crazy of an exit wound, but that was pretty awesome. It went right through the freaking cantaloupe. But now I'm gonna load some shot in it so I can I think it'll be cool. So how I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna put a duct tape wadding in the back like this. So I'm gonna put that in the back and then shut it completely. Next, I'm gonna grab a handful of, these are just copper BBs. And I'm just gonna pour them down the barrel. Now I'm gonna get some of this, just some more wadding so the BBs don't fall out the barrel. And I'm gonna ram it. So as you can see, just a smattering of BBs all went right into here. I don't think there's an exit wound, which I didn't really expect one, because that's a lot of ways for these little BBs to travel. So expect total destruction, because we're going to be using buckshot. So I'm going to be using 3 of these 50 caliber balls all in the same barrel. This is going to be crazy. That thing's going to explode. Ready to fire. That was crazy. Brutal. Look at that. Well, I mean, that didn't do the job, so let's do some more buckshot. We're going for 6 of these 50 caliber balls. Really wasting these BBs, but whatever. Oh man. Oh, look at that. It just got peppered up. It's still together though. I'm gonna do some of this little stuff and then 2 of those 50 caliber balls. So let me just load it up real quick. Oh! Freaking explosion right there. Wow, look at that. Still not satisfied though. Let's completely destroy this thing. You know, bullets are pretty cool, but let's try an arrow with a metal tip. You know, I broke it in half so it fit in the barrel, but you know, that's gonna be pretty crazy in here. What just happened? That was crazy. Gotta be the best freaking exit wound we've gotten today. You can see that right there. Oh my gosh, you can see daylight right through it. So I think I'm pretty much done with this thing. Now I'm gonna be shooting some wood, some drywall, and some other stuff just to show you the power of this pellet gun. Now let's do the penetration test. So down there I got a 1/4 inch plywood board. I don't think it's gonna have any trouble going through that. But this is also going to kind of be the accuracy test just to see if I can get this thing to go where I want it to. Wow, I penetrated straight through the 1/4 inch, so now it's time to move on to the 1/2 inch. Looks like I can see daylight through that one too. Now let's do something kind of stupid. So down there I got a 1/10 of an inch thick steel plate, and I'm gonna shoot it because I want to see if it'll even leave a mark. So I'm gonna be behind some cover when I'm doing this, behind this table, and with a full mask on. So don't try this at home, all right? That was pretty awesome. Let me show you what happened. Wow, that's actually really impressive. Okay, so I found the bullet, but there's the welt right there. That's actually really impressive. Okay, so I got 3 water bottles down there. I'd say that's about 25 feet away. And I'm just gonna be shooting 3 shots. And if I don't hit any in 3 shots, that means this thing needs a little bit of improvement. But if I hit all 3, then this thing is as good as any air gun. But I mean, I doubt I'm gonna hit all 3. So let's just see what happens. Bullseye, I hit the middle one. Okay, so I hit the middle one. Now let's go for left and right. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. I hit in between the left and the right one. So that would still be a kill on like an animal. So now let's go for the right one. Bullseye, let's go. I am actually really happy about how this gun has performed. So the accuracy on this is definitely enough to kill a bunny. And you know what? I'm gonna kill a freaking bunny with this. I'm gonna get my small game license soon so I can kill stuff like that. And I'm just gonna show you guys how awesome this gun is. So I'm probably gonna make another gun eventually, but wow, this thing is just amazing. I'm just really happy with how this turned out. So if you wanna make one of these, you're free to do so. They're very dangerous. I mean, there's a lot of things that could go wrong if you don't take the right safety precautions or if you make it poorly. Just make sure you use PVC primer and PVC cement when making this. And also, never look down the barrel, and just be safe, alright? So wow, this gun is just insane. I love this thing a lot now. It's my favorite, it's one of the favorite things I've made on this channel for me right now. So you might have seen that I haven't been making as many how-tos lately, and that's just because they got really boring and stale for me to make. Like, they just weren't fun, and like a lot of times I'd spend like a week on a video and it wouldn't even break 1,000 views. So that really sucks for me. But now that I made this, I really hope this thing gets a lot of views, just because it makes me want to do more. And also, I'm gonna try to kill a bunny with this, or a squirrel, or anything, any small game with this. Very impressive, and I'm gonna go out every morning from now on trying to find a bunny to shoot before school, I guess. So thank you guys for watching this video. It was really fun for me to make. I really hope you guys liked it. Be safe and subscribe to join the North Bank Nation. I'll see you guys later. Also, subscribe to my Patreon.